Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host, Chantele Francis, with 2 more Francis joining this recap team. We have my dad, G Daddy. How's it going today, Daddy?
I didn't hear that. Sorry.
Oh, you didn't hear it. You're actually frozen.
Am I frozen again? Okay,
Frozen
so
again.
we'll leave it like this. This is fine.
Okay, you're. It's like a nice still frame of you. We can still hear your voice perfectly. So, what are your overall thoughts of this episode, and how are you doing?
Yeah, doing great. I thought this episode was pretty cool, actually. To have as we go into it, it was a great show, obviously, with the blind side and everything. I thought it was great.
Definitely agree. I thought it was a very strong episode as well. And coming in from New York is Angelique for her first appearance on Reality Realness. How you doing, Angelique?
I'm doing good. I also thought the episode was awesome. Lots of conniving between everyone.
Lots of conniving. So what is your history with Survivor? I know that you like Big Brother. I know that you've seen episodes, but what's your forage into Survivor?
I've definitely seen every episode from season 1 until maybe like 35. Have not really watched a lot since season 35. Have kept up with a couple seasons, but always love it.
Wait, so you've seen 1 through 35? Okay, yeah. So you know what's going on. You're a Survivor fan.
Going on. Of course. There was too much time during COVID.
So you watched all the seasons during COVID?
I watched, every season during COVID.
Oh, so who are your standout favorites then?
I think it was season 10 with Amber and Rob.
8.
Or 8, yes. That's my favorite season. I also love Heroes and Villains. And
of course, Sandra. Well, yeah, these are.
And I love the Black Widow Brigade. I love all the strong female characters. So, yeah.
Okay, well, you like all the people that I like, so you are qualified to be here for sure.
Of course.
Well, that's super awesome. Well, this episode, I think it's definitely really strong this season so far. I think that they've done a really good job with casting. I also want to just let you know, I think you did watch last week when we recapped, but Asia and Andy are 2 people that I do know, and that I was telling G Daddy over here that Asia can do no wrong because she's kind of a friend and a coworker of mine. So if I'm a little bit biased sometimes, this is why, because we love Asia and we want her to do well. And so we're going to be supporting her. Just letting you know. So we start this episode at Lavo. We see Rome flash back to what his decisions he's making with this idol. And he decides to tell Teeny. So what do you think about this idol play, G Daddy? Do we hear you, G Daddy, or no?
Yeah, I'm here. So I'm going to stay frozen like this. And we'll fix it up. But I think I've got a pretty good frame there. We'll leave it like that. I'm not going to go in and out.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah. So we see Rome going back to getting his idol, and we had some words about Rome, dunking himself into the well and making it quite obvious that he was looking for an idol. But we do see that he decides to keep the one idol. Well, I shouldn't say that part yet, but we see him doing more, and then he decides to go tell Teeny about his idol box. So what do we think about that? Telling Teeny.
Well, I think that, obviously he felt comfortable with Teeny to tell her, but I think that was a huge mistake to go and share, secrets so early in the game with somebody that you really didn't know that you had a real relationship or an alliance with. So I thought that was a mistake, obviously, because Teeny then went and told, what's his name? Keyshawn. Yeah, she told Keyshawn, and then, pretty well the whole tribe knows now, except Saul, right? So, yeah, I thought that was a huge mistake of him. But at the same time, he gets a chance to let everybody know and get the idol out of there, so it takes a target off of his back, too. Right?
Yeah.
He should not have told her right off the bat, hey, I got an idol, right? So,
So I definitely agree that it might have been a little bit too soon. I was surprised with how quickly Teeny went and told Keyshawn. Like, I thought she might hold on to that information a little bit. And if if they didn't get found out, which what they did, which was the wildest scene with them,
Open with the
Keyshawn.
box.
Oh my goodness.
No.
I was like, and then you see Rome coming over there. Angelique, what would you have done in this situation if you were Teeny, Keyshawn, or Rome?
I mean, Teeny tried to get herself out of it with like this quick play wording of like they were too excited, they needed to show it. I think it was such a blunder on Teeny's part. I understand Rome's perspective with wanting to tell everyone so early on, like form some connections with everyone. Maybe later in the game keep it a secret. But Teeny going and running to show Keyshawn the actual box was just so insane.
Oh, it's like two kids getting caught, grabbing cookies out of the cookie jar, right? And then the mother or father walks around the corner into the kitchen with the lights on and so forth. They got caught red-handed.
Yeah.
And when she said something to the
I was too excited.
Yeah. I had to show it and all that stuff. I thought, but you know what I do think? I think that Rome really controlled his emotions on that because obviously he was very, very upset. He went in there. You can see it, but don't touch my idol. Right? So he went in there and actually read it in front of them and so forth. So I thought his composure was very good with that.
It might have worked out better for Rome in the end because now they'll trust him and they think that they're bonded by this idol, but he obviously doesn't trust Teeny as much anymore. So.
Well, I think though, because if Rome was a person that Teeny wanted to potentially, get out, if she hadn't have done that and had been found out by Rome, there would have been a chance that he would have gone for the 3 tribal idol or even go to the 5 tribal or whatever it was, the next one. And that means he might have been open for the vote. Now we know that he decided to keep the 1 idol and he's going to play it that first tribal and you won't be able to get out Rome. And so I think it ended up shooting her in the foot potentially because now they can't get him out.
Not this time anyways. Yeah,
not the first vote, for sure. Which makes it scary because I don't actually want anybody to leave this season so far. And I'm like, it's going to be a kind of a hard one for me. So Rome does finally read the clue and he decides to play it safe and just keep the idol for the 1 tribal. So then we go over to Tuku, Blue. They're finding crabs. We learned that Kyle and TK are, thick as thieves. They're each other's number 1. And TK really wants to bring Tiana into this group, thinking that she might be a better fit than Gabe. So Angelique, what do you think about this bromance that they seems to be brewing, but then the fact that TK doesn't think that Gabe necessarily is in this bromance and wants Tiana in there instead?
I don't know. It's interesting, especially how it ends up all playing out in the end. TK, seeing all of their annoyance like slowly grow with him throughout the episode was really interesting and like definitely pulled apart this very quickly created alliance. I don't know.
Well, and so she's worried though about being the 4th in a bromance, and I think that's a pretty valid, fear is that like, okay, I'm going to be working with these 3 guys here and I'm going to be the 4th girl. Okay. Yeah. That might work for 2 tribals, but then what happens after that? So I understand her being a little bit hesitant.
Yeah.
G-Daddy, what do you think about this bromance plus Tiana? Do you think this is a good idea?
Well, it's not a good idea, I don't think, initially for Tiana to be the only girl with 3 guys. I mean, that obviously we've seen it before, right? They're going to take sides. So I don't think it's a great idea for her. However, she was playing into it, right? So they thought that they had her with the group, and you saw what happened, right?
Kyle says that nice people can't. They say that nice people can't win this game, and Kyle wants to be that nice person. So that's an interesting debate question. Can nice people win this game?
I don't know about the word nice. Nice is typically like people pleasing. Maybe like a kind, caring person could win the game, but no, I think you have to be definitely more selfish than not. Right?
I can agree with that.
Dad? Yeah, I think that to win the game, it's all strategy and social, right? So to win the game, you've got to have strategy, but you also have to have nice social skills. To know where you are and be aware of your surroundings and just be aware because a lot of times here you see that these players are really not aware of their, what's going on around them as far as the other players and so on and so forth. So I think being nice overall is a good strategy, social strategy, but you've also got to have strategy as well.
Yeah. So how do we feel about Kyle at this point? Do we think that because he's claiming, I guess, that he's a nice guy. Do we think that he has the chops to win this game? Is he too nice? Is he going to get steamrolled?
I don't think he's too nice. I think he's doing a good job right now. He's like staying in the middle. He kind of fostered like an apology between TK and Tiana later on. He's like trying to heal cracks in the tribe and with his alliance, which I think is a good move. We'll see later on when he's individual and everyone's post-merge. That's when everything gets crazy.
We have some friends joining us. Hi, Sophie. Thanks for being here. Dolores says, hi, this was a pretty good episode. I was jumping back and forth on who was leaving. Definitely, I wasn't 100% sure all the time. And Dolores also says, true, these people seem to have diarrhea of the mouth. Nobody knows how to keep a secret, it appears. And I definitely think that that's been a problem in, I would say, maybe even the new era, is that people want to share information, and information is so powerful, so powerful. And so Rome learned the hard way that, you want to keep some information to yourself, especially it's day 4, day 5. Why is he running his mouth to Teeny? So, yeah, it's like, he's such. So back over at Gata, we see Andy is feeling a little bit better. He's feeling a little bit more part of the tribe. I did have to chuckle that they were all cheering for him. They were all like, yay!
I definitely, that was very humorous. But what I found with that, I thought the group was great. It seemed like they were placating because they were over the top cheering, obviously. But you know what? Andy
loved it.
Didn't realize they were over the top, and he loved it.
Yeah.
Right? It really helped him. So he loved it. I don't think he saw them as placating. He just, loved the cheering. And at least that's what I think. I think he loved it and really embraced it. But obviously the other members of the tribe are just placating him, I believe.
Well, and they do say that, he must need words of affirmation. And this is when Annika was like, he kind of gives off toxic, clingy boyfriend. Do you think that he'd be a toxic, clingy boyfriend, Angelique?
Yes. Like, just the fact that he's in front of not just his own tribe, but all of the tribes, like, complaining about feeling a little bit left out and about something so, like, minuscule as the coconut. I don't know. It's interesting that he felt so good with them placating him afterwards because it was so over the top and clearly like a response to him asking for it, but whatever.
I would detect that. So I'm like, oh, you guys are really
of course now excited. You guys are really pumped about my coconut. It was not that great of a coconut, guys. Everyone's just pumped about it.
He's just loving it. So he did just need to have that just to feel it, and he just accepted it. Rachel was saying that she's fine with giving Andy what he needs, because yes, he could be an easy boot later on, and I respect the fact that they all knew what they needed to do to make him feel part of the tribe, because in order for you to be able to work with Andy, he has to trust you. You don't want him to be spilling any more of your tribe secrets to the mat. And so if this is what you got to do, this is the type of babysitting that you have to do with Andy. At least it's not that hard. Like sometimes babysitting people can be a little bit more difficult. Look who we have joining us. Hi, Sheila. Sheila says, hello, fam. Love all these Survivor insights. Sheila, are you coming on next week? Your mom says no, but one of these days we got like 10
coming on next week. Angelique and I
will take my spot.
Convince her to come on. Yeah, I thought with that, clearly that the tribe really does see him as an oddball, and he's an easy target for elimination down the road. So, they're going to keep him around for now, and we'll see. I mean, Andy might win. Who knows?
He's getting closer to being someone that you bring along with you because you think that they cannot win. And so just getting to be in those final 3 chairs is an opportunity to show people how you've overcome, how you've survived, how you've outwitted, outplayed, and outlasted. And he could, if you could construct a nice little story arc for himself, he could definitely win this game. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities. There's people that could win or have less win equity than he does, I would say, on this
who
season.
knows? He might have been musical therapy or musical theater as well, I should say, right?
Maybe. I don't think so, though.
You don't think so? He's not acting?
Andy's acting. I don't think Andy's acting. No,
No,
I don't think he's acting.
Unfortunately, I think it's for real.
Andre says this episode was so good, so happy they didn't focus too much on the advantages. What do you think about the advantages of the new era, Angelique?
It's changed the game so much, right? And it's become like so much about the advantages and not as much about like the classic gameplay from like earlier seasons, which is interesting. I don't know. I feel like it's become a little bit too much personally. We don't get as much of like the gritty gameplay that we used to because there's all these like crazy rules, advantages. I wonder if they'll do it again this season, but where they like go on, they each choose a person to go on a walk and get to do like a secret challenge. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's just changed the game so much that you can win. You can do less and still win, you know, just from the advantages, which is interesting.
Yeah, for me, I agree with you. It's just become a little bit more focused on luck and, you know, oh, I happen to find this advantage and maybe I'm going to get voted out because I don't have my vote and or whatever. It changes it in a way that it takes it away from the strategy part, which is what I really like. And it makes it more of like trinkets and luck based. So it's entertaining. Absolutely. And I do love seeing people, you know, figuring out a clue and trying to find an idol. Like I do like that aspect of it, but I don't like personally so many advantages in the game.
Yeah.
Because I just like it.
Well, I think with the advantages to like for instance with Roman and with Gabe to go and get the key and then find that they have to get another key and then there's another key in there. I think that's a lot. I mean to do one would be phenomenal to be able to, you know, go and find the key and open up the lock and do one would be great. But they're tough. I mean, you know, Rome had to go way into the well to find that the last one there. So I think that it's a lot really to have everybody having to do so much to get these advantages as well.
Definitely. I mean, and that's what the producers want. I believe I heard in somebody else's recap that Jeff was kind of upset that people didn't go for multiple idols, that they were all like fine with just having the one idol. And so Jeff is the kind of the one that is really spearheading, like, okay, I want them to go on these idol searches, and like that's what he really, really wants. And so the fact that none of them went for all three idols is Jeff doesn't like it, but
it's too much of a risk. Like it's such a huge risk to have to go find them, and I don't know. You're so suspicious for being gone for 1 second, let alone having to do layers and layers of an advantage.
And then if you're super suspicious, you'll have to use it in the first one anyways.
Exactly.
So it's like, yeah, it's. I don't think it should be the focus, but it's what Jeff wants right now. Sheila, maybe you're gonna come. Hi, Haley. Haley says, "Hey, Francis fam."
Yeah,
it's a family affair. So Sam is on Andy duty, so he is definitely babysitting Andy. And he wants Andy to come with him with information. He wants Andy to trust him the most. And I think that this is smart for Sam to have, if you remember back in the day, like Rob and Philip Shepard, you know, Philip was somebody you kind of had to wrangle and, you know, keep at your side. And so I think it's kind of a similar dynamic. Yeah, you're agreeing?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have someone like that along. I mean, someone else was talking about that with, what's her name? Sue. Like who you want to end up in the final couple, like the final three with, is always smart to think about at the beginning. So having someone that everyone on the tribe already doesn't really like as much as like in Andy, wanting him to stay by your side is a good move. It's a little bit of a shield.
But now, so Andy is being babysat, and Sam needs to go to the washroom, and he leaves Andy alone for a few moments, and Andy decides to go idol hunting.
Of course.
I mean, of course, but
course.
he's like such like with the tribe, he can't lose trust with the tribe, but he still does go idol hunting. And so he finds the idol, and then he decides that he's not going to take it. He's going to put it, you has to put it back where he found it. If he doesn't want to take the beware advantage, he has to put it back exactly where he found it. So he puts it back and he returns back to the camp. Now, if you're going to be out searching and you find it, don't you have to take it?
Yeah. Like, I don't know how, he didn't want to seem more suspicious, but at that point, I feel like you should just go for it. You already, and it bit him in the ass so hard.
Yeah, I think that it was a matter of indecision, really.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know what to do. Should I take it? Should I not? Okay, let me think about it. I'm going to come back. So I think it was indecision that caused him to leave it there. He didn't decide to take it and just take it. He wasn't sure. So let me leave it there for now. Think about it. Then I'll come back and get it. And, you know, we saw what happened when the girls took it.
Yeah. I mean, this could be good for him, though, in the end. So over at the other tribe, we see Asia seemingly annoyed that Rome wants to make fire. Rome wants it to be the Rome show for the most part. He tries, he said that, you know, he was practicing, he could make fire in 16 seconds, and it was a while, and it seemed like he wasn't having any luck. And then Kishan, it just seems like he has like 2 strikes of the flint, and he has like a blazing fire in a second.
Yeah, he just walked over like, hey, hold my coconut.
Like, I got this. But Rome must have been just like fuming on the inside because
it looked like a magic show to Rome. It's like he was like, "Whoa!"
So continuing on with Rome, he seems to be driving everyone nuts. You know, he's breakdancing and he's moonwalking. And he does mention that he wants to do the On Fire podcast with Jeff Probst. So for the last, I think this is the 3rd season that Jeff has had a podcast where previous Survivor players have been his co-host for the season. And so this year it's Charlie. Last year it was Dee, and the year before was Rick Devens. And so Asia being a podcaster, that Rome doesn't know this, it was just very funny looking at her looking over at Rome being like, excuse me, you think that you're going to be the one that Jeff is going to choose this season to I found it funny. Did you guys catch that?
Yeah, he was putting up a show for everyone. He needs to calm down. He's painting a huge target.
A huge target. He doesn't seem to sense how people are feeling about him, which awareness. I think is, say that again?
I said awareness. You got to be aware of your surroundings and what's going on with other people, right?
Do you think that he could have been a ball player? Didn't he say that he thought that he could be drafted? But
he thought he could be drafted besides his height, but he definitely had the speed, which clearly those are opposites in a player. So.
But then they said, "What did you get drafted?" He said, or something like that. And
she said, "Why didn't you get drafted?"
He stopped playing in high school.
In high school, yeah, like so did everyone else. It's okay.
But he could do a good moonwalk. Yeah, that was good. His moonwalk was okay.
Yeah,
he could do a little moonwalk, but his rapping was terrible. He could rap too.
And so I feel like the way that their tribe is handling Rome is similar to Annie, because they're just like, yeah, you're good. Like they're just like kind of just supporting him, not really actually enthusiastic about it. I think it's very funny. So they're kind of a similar character archetype, with that they need the attention and not are aware that people might be placating them.
Yeah.
Rome is definitely Sifu part 2. Do you agree with this, Angelique? You got to meet Sifu, right?
I don't know if I ever met Sifu.
He was definitely there that night last year.
I definitely remember him. I don't remember him being as much of a showman. But
remember he was like doing the air guitar and like making the song. So maybe he's a little bit
Oh yeah, I remember Sifu now. Okay.
Russ says Rome is hilarious. I see why he was cast. I mean, I see why he's cast.
Exactly. He's entertaining.
100%. So back over at Gata, we see Sam telling Annika about Andy looking for the idol, but he doesn't think that Andy found it. So they decide to go together to look for it, and Sam finds the beware advantage. And so now he's working together with Annika. They go to the box, and then they realize that they have to, I think that they're untying a gazillion knots, I think was at this one. That's really annoying. I would be really annoyed if there was all these knots I had to untie. And I also would probably annoyed that I'd had to do it with Annika. So why do we think that he told Annika first about this situation?
I think he's trying to he doesn't want to be the one man out of the girl with the rest of the women in the tribe, leaving Andy out. So I think he's just trying to like get some closer ties with them. But his number one is Sierra. So I think, but he's like, I think he's just trying to extend some olive branches with the other girls.
I did think it was smart of him, though, when he said, like, well, I don't want to have a secret with Annika to then leave out Sierra, who, like you said, is his number one. And he knew that Annika would likely tell Rachel. So he planned on going to tell Rachel first. So it looked like, you know, he trusts Rachel, etc. So I thought that was actually pretty smart of Sam. Do you agree, G Daddy?
Yeah, I thought it was a great move to tell them both and be the one to go and tell her, obviously, because if he wasn't, then he would not look like he was a real great alliance partner. So I thought it was great for him to go and do that. That was very smart.
Very smart. And he's quite young. And so I was like, okay, you got some strategic chops. Sam, I thought potentially was just going to be maybe the brawn on that tribe, but it seems like he might be pretty strategic as well. So I was impressed.
No, he's doing a good job.
So Andy then decides to go back and not find the beware advantage. If that were me, my heart would have broken in half.
No, in like the span of probably like 30 minutes. So insane.
And like he's gonna be kicking himself. Like if he doesn't win the game, he might think that this was the moment that he messed up. It could have been. Rachel and Sam do end up now untying the knots part of this, and they do get the key. But then Andy, which is also, I think, good on Andy, goes and tells Sam that he did go. He thought he found the beware advantage. He left it there. He went back, and that the girls must have found it, which was a great lob to Sam, being like, oh, great. He doesn't think it's me, but he trusts me enough to give me this information. So I think that they're developing a really good bond. And I think that, I think that it's going to serve Andy really well that he's been so honest with Sam.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, I think that Sam, obviously, at this stage, wants to have Andy in there because he doesn't want to be the only male with the females. So I think he's starting to see, but not an alliance, but he's starting to see the value in Andy. And yeah, Andy came and told him. So Andy came and told him, hey, you know what? I found it. It's not there anymore. The girls must have took it. He didn't even think that Sam was responsible for that. But Sam was a great actor.
Yeah.
What?
Did he say he was in musical theater?
Yeah. Maybe Sam was the one in musical theater.
Haley says I could be wrong, but I get the sense the edit is setting up Sam for a potential blindside.
Interesting.
Ooh.
Soon or like later on? I don't see that actually.
Right now he seems so well set up because he has Andy like backing him up. He has all the women backing him up. Like he's like in the middle of the two, which is perfect. While those two are kind of like fighting each other, so he seems really set up right now.
I do not see Sierra going against him. We'll talk a little bit more about how things go down. But yeah, I think that she's going to be wanting to stick with Sam. Flora says, I'm curious what your thoughts are on the beware advantage. I'm thinking perhaps it's not the best. Aren't they a little bit overrated? Yeah. What do we think about having these beware advantages? I hate losing my vote.
Yeah, losing your vote, I know in like past seasons it comes down to the wire where like there's no time to find it anymore, and then you're a little fucked. I don't know. It's just, again, it's like so many hoops to jump through to get the idol, and it's just complicating everything. But you end up having to work together more, which complicates the strategy of the game. So.
And I also feel like maybe it would work better in a larger, like if it was 2 tribes instead of 3, because your vote is so valuable. A lot of people don't want to risk losing their vote because that makes them an easy target in, a tribal council situation when there's only 5 other people potentially or less.
Yeah.
So if it was a bigger tribe where you had like maybe 7 people, like you could still get numbers on your side if you don't have a vote. And so it might allow you to try and find the longer lasting advantage or idol. But with it being such a small tribe, your vote being so powerful, I think it's a bit overrated. I agree. Dad, do you think it's overrated? Because like you're more old school, I would say, with your Survivor knowledge.
So when you say overrated, as far as what specifically are you saying?
I guess overrated that like people desperate to find a beware advantage and an idol and like going like making it what they need to do to play the game and win. Like
yeah, I mean for me, I don't know if I'd go looking. Not at this stage, anyways. Let someone else find it for now, because as soon as you find it, now you're paranoid that you got it now. And do I tell someone? Do I not tell someone? And if you do tell someone, you're a target. If you don't tell someone, they know that you're looking for it. So you're a target. So I would probably just chill.
Yeah, agreed. So over at Tuku, TK doesn't think that Sue brings anything to the table. How do we were liking Sue. Sue was able to carry that heavy puzzle piece in that first challenge. Like, I don't see Sue being such a big liability to the tribe so far. What are you guys' thoughts?
Not at all, but he is a man and she's an older woman, so therefore she is the weakest link.
I mean, she's strong. I don't know if you saw her abs. She's strong.
Yeah,
so
she's strong, and she's like super smart based on what she owns a flight school and is a pilot, which is so cool. So I don't know. I think they're really underestimating her.
Yeah, she was able to go and pull in Caroline real easy there. We'll talk about that.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that Sue, I would probably rather work with Sue than TK, to be honest, because it doesn't seem like he has any flexibility in his opinion or his strategy. It's just a little bit too bro, too sports. It's
well,
not.
He's a coach. He's like, come on, team, let's go.
And he literally said his mentality needs to be everyone else's on the tribe's mindset as well. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it's like I would not be vibing with TK, I don't think. No. So Gabe, though, prefers to work with Sue and Carolyn, which I know that Gabe wants to have control of the tribe, but I am actually pretty impressed that he realized that they're more valuable than potentially, winning challenges. Like, it's valuable to have these numbers and these bonds and not necessarily be under TK's rule. So I was pretty impressed that he was able to figure that out and not get sucked into the trap of like tribe strong and, sports romance.
Well, he was great though, because he picked Sue and Caroline right up front there, right? So he had his alliance all set. However, he also had an alliance where he was the weakest link in the other alliance, and he played that weakest link in the other alliance. And so I think he played the game. I mean, great. We'll talk about that as we go along, but I think Gabe played a great game that episode.
Yeah, it's been surprising me because preseason he was kind of talking about how he's not there to make friends, and and I was like, no, you are actually there to make friends because people need to like you for you to win the game. People need to like you to want to work with you, and so the fact that he's made these connections and these bonds and these relationships, it kind of goes against with what he said preseason. So I'm happy with the direction that his game is going. Haley here is saying, wasn't Sue the one who carried those big puzzle pieces on her own during the first challenge? She's strong. Exactly. Yeah. And Sheila's saying Sue is incredibly strong and buff and the oldest woman on the show. Did you see her abs? She'll give the youngins a run for their money.
Yes, Mom. Yes.
Yeah. How many push-ups could you do against Sue, Sheila?
We need to see them 1v1.
Well, I remember Sheila used to be like...
No, Mom's strong. Sheila's very strong.
Like,
she got abs herself.
Yeah. So I definitely could not beat Sheila in a push-up contest. So probably
Neither.
neither Sue. We see Gabe talking to Caroline and wanting to work, saying that he wanted to work with her. I was surprised that immediately she didn't just kind of say yes. She was skeptical, which I don't think is necessarily good in these type of games where you're showing like, oh, I don't know if I want to work with you. You kind of have to say yes and, make your decisions about things later, because I don't know. I just wouldn't want somebody that's bringing me into something to know that I'm already skeptical of them. So I was a little bit apprehensive with how she responded, but then he shows her the idol to gain some trust with her. So I thought it was pretty good.
Good move. Great move.
Good move on him. So Carolyn does talk to Sue, tell Sue that he told her about the idol. Sue and her talk about the idol. So now she knows that Gabe has been serious about wanting to work with the two of them because they both have that information. So it was great for Gabe to get these women to trust him and believe him.
Yeah, they're the two that everyone else was like underestimating. Perfect people to want to work with. Untapped potential.
Sheila, in my younger days.
No, bragging. Bragging in the chat.
I think she could do it.
I will know she's probably so good.
So Sue and Tiana want to take a nap on the beach. And, Kyle and TK are apparently going to take a nap as well, but TK decides to only talk.
Yeah.
And talk and talk and talk and talk. Now, I'm a talkative person, but I can vibe when people want to sleep and they don't want to hear my voice.
Mm-hmm. When two people next to you are covering their head to take a nap, actually insane. Shut up. Actually crazy.
I think I would say something kindly, just being like, hey, we're just going to try to take a little snooze here. Do you mind if you guys are going to talk just to go back to the shelter or something? I might have to say something.
Yeah.
No, I think what they did was perfect. They didn't ruffle anyone's feathers. They just took it passively.
And just
because if she would have, reared up and said, hey, will you guys, whatever, even if it was in a nice way, it would have rubbed somebody the wrong way there. Probably
it would have rubbed TK the wrong way for sure.
Yeah.
So she did a great move, just staying there, not getting upset. She was upset, but not showing her upsetness. I thought she did great.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what? Though it also bonds them with having like a common enemy, being like, "Oh my God, can you believe that he was like?" So that's actually good for them, relationship wise, is having someone that they could, kind of gossip about and be annoyed with together. So
yeah, especially because Tiana and TK at the time were like working together, like brought Sue in a little bit more.
So Tiana doesn't know if she vibes with TK, and so she's apprehensive of this kind of alliance that she's with the bros, because TK, he's loud and he doesn't really listen, and he doesn't seem to want to be the person necessarily that she would want to, be working with in the game. So what kind of person would you guys want to be working with in the game? What would be your ideal partner?
I don't know. It really would depend on like my dynamic in the tribe, I think.
Mm-hmm. If you were Tiana in this tribe, who would you think you'd maybe vibe with?
I would go with Sue and Carolyn.
Yeah. And Gabe too.
Yeah, and Gabe, because he's like friendly and is doing a great job and not like commandeering the entire tribe just yet, which is a good move to be making. So maybe them.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be. Well, I want to talk strategy, and it just doesn't seem like TK wants to talk strategy. He just wants to talk like winning.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to talk strategy. If I'm not talking strategy, I'd be bored and not having a good time. So
yeah, I definitely would probably want to go with Gabe. He's smart. And he's quiet, and just I would definitely go Gabe.
Haley says, I like Gabe so much more this episode. He was a lot more chill. I thought. I think he was great this episode. He changed my perception. Like I can see winner in his future. And it would be a deserved winner so far. Like if he continues on this type of strategy and the way that he's pushing the game, like he'd be a good winner. Dolores is saying, exactly, when you're on the island out in the sand, you're covering your head, it's a sign. Read the room. In this case, read the beach. Read the beach. Back
they
in
have their own podcast going, right?
basically.
in there on the beach.
Bro Island.
I mean, that could be a good
That could be a good show,
podcast.
Bro Island, right?
Perfect. Bro Island is amazing. Like, oh. Back at Gata, Sierra and Sam, they go out and they find the box. Finally, they open the box, and Sam decides to play it safe and just keeps that one tribal idol. Sierra knows now that she can trust Sam 100%. She does trust him 100%. They're basically locked in as each other's number one over here. Sam tells her, though, that he wants to protect Andy, and Sierra is hesitant, but it looks to me like she wants to go with what Sam wants. Like, what are your guys' thoughts on Sierra? Like, do you think that she's willing to actually pull in Andy, or do you think that she'll be more female strong?
I want her to be more female strong and go and tell the women, like, this is what he's planning. It really will depend on who she is gonna value more. Is it Sam or is it the women? Oh, I don't know.
I think she's going to value Sam more personally, but Haley here says, I don't know if he trusts the women as much as he thinks. I still think that Sierra is going to stick with him.
That's
Dad, what do you think about Sierra?
Right now too, right? So
it's true, some power, but it seems like he's floating the idea that he might use this one tribal idol on Andy and take out Annika. And so do you think she'll let that happen?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so personally, but I don't know.
I think she might. I feel like it would be, she probably feels like it would be stronger for her to head into a potential merge later on, aligned with Sam versus Annika. So I feel as though she would sacrifice Annika in that decision, even if that means going with Andy. Especially because the other tribes, they don't know as much. All they know about Andy is that he complained about like not getting as much attention to everyone, you know? So I feel like
feeling on the bottom.
Yeah, his optics aren't great for the rest of the tribe, so maybe it's not the worst thing to align with him. I don't know. I foresee her going probably with Sam.
Me too. And if I remember correctly from this scenes from the next episode, it seems like I believe it's Annika that's calling out Sam and Sierra, being like, are you guys dating, or were you guys dating? And I don't know if she's implying came to the show as a couple, or saying that they've gotten really close really quickly, or what. And so if that's the case, I think it would also push her towards this blind side, because whether it's true or not, having somebody that wants to out you like that is a liability. So Annika might not be long for this world.
Well, based on that, I'm going to side with you guys now.
We win.
We obviously stirred the pot a little bit, so I'm definitely going to side with you guys on that one.
So getting to the challenge, Andy waving at everybody really gave me life. He's just like you didn't think I'd be here, guys.
I know. After everything I did last time, everyone was so shocked with John being gone.
Well, the mastermind behind that, John leaving, right? So he came in there. I did it.
But people's faces were like,
first person out of the season they already can't believe.
I thought it was such a great reaction, and I definitely was tickled with Andy's excitement here. So we're at the immunity challenge. It's going to be immunity and reward. This is pretty hard. They have to jump in the water. They have to race to a shower. They have to retrieve a bag of rice. Then they have to bring this bag of rice and push it through this contraption that they have to then climb over into the water and bring this right. Like, it was a pretty hard challenge. Well, you're great in the water, Angelique, but how would you do in this challenge? Would you be?
I don't know. I feel like the hardest part was the maze that you couldn't see was tricky, and that last teamwork challenge where you had to like maneuver the ball was tough. I don't know how I would have done with that. The water would have been easy, but those last two parts were tricky.
Yeah. Every time I'm like, "Ooh, I want to go on Survivor," then I'm like, "Oh, these challenges look like they suck." Like, not fun.
Especially on no food, dehydrated. No, I don't know.
Hottest day of the year.
hottest day of the year. Yeah, I would
Or
not want
something like that. I know Jeff said it was hot.
Yeah.
So like you said, after they bring the bag of rice, you have to like slash open the bag of rice. Were you terrified of Andy with that knife?
Yes, oh my God, I was like,
was.
it's bound to go through his hand any moment. So stressful.
I had PSD, whatever that word is, but I felt Psycho. Do you ever see the show Psycho, the movie Psycho? That's what it felt like.
No, slasher film.
Like, Andy, please just chill. Like, I don't want you to cut off your hand, Andy. Like, it just chill. I think even Jeff was like, "Hey, be careful."
Yeah, too much.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just wondering why they had to stab it like that. Why didn't they just put it in and just tear it? They're,
for dramatics.
Okay. Well, I think he's trying to be fast.
Oh. That was scary.
Yeah.
It's really scary. So then, yes, one person is going to maneuver the key through a maze blindly. And then 3 people were going to retrieve the ball from the bag of rice and then maneuver it on this winding snake thing. So for reward, they're going to receive a fishing kit. So a bigger one for the first place and like a smaller fishing kit for the second place. Sitting out is Asia and Sue. So for most of it, Lavo, which is blue, was in the lead. So that is TK's tribe. They were pretty strong with the physical part of this. And they have to push like the rice through the hole, and the castaways are climbing up and jumping over. How do you feel about Rome's style points over at, I said Lavo blue, but Lavo's red. Style points for jumping off the contraption.
He's just adding things onto his list of being a showman. He cannot stop.
Well, at least he didn't do like a back tuck.
No, literally. Like backflip off the thing. Like he cannot help himself.
I almost thought he was going to jump on someone's head, quite frankly.
I didn't think that. I was just like, Rome, showboat.
Always.
Rachel's on the maze. Rome is on the maze, and Tiana is on the maze. But Rachel gets hers out first. So Rachel on yellow. That's when Andy was with the rice there. It was super scary. And first is to Sierra and Sam and Annika. They are on the winding snake thing. And so they are just taking their time doing it, which I think is the way to go. Figuring out like who needs to pull what, and like it's quite challenging to do, but you really have to work together and you really have to communicate. Which is
they were having some trouble communicating, those 3. Annika was like getting frustrated with Sam about not listening to her and stuff.
True, but they kept on being like, they slowed down and they would stop and they'd slow. Like it wasn't smooth, but it definitely ended up working
that is the way to do it
for them.
Yeah, I felt that riff right there between Annika and Sam. I felt that at that point Annika was not happy with Sam, and she's going to take that with her a little bit because they had a little riff there.
Yeah, that could feed into next episode.
Yeah.
So Lavo, they're taking the slow and steady approach for sure. Third to so they weren't able to get the maze. So Tiana kind of got them far behind with the maze. So Blue is over at the snake puzzle last, and Kyle, TK, and Gabe, like 3 bros, are doing this puzzle. You think they're going to be fast and get it done really quickly and easily. But no, they were not. Now, this is when Rachel says, like, she wants to eat the rice. And I was thinking, could they just fill their pockets with this rice?
Yeah.
I was like, that's amazing. And then, like, they have a pot. They could, like, boil some rice from the challenge. Like, are they allowed to do that? So that was my first thought. It seems to be not only my first thought. So who wants fish tonight? Says Sam, because Gata wins the challenge.
His dramatic winning. It's crazy.
And then next up, Lavo, red, wins immunity because Tuku could not get it together. The bros were not able to communicate at all. And TK is pissed. And then I wrote there, I think he is going home.
Yeah. I mean, he was a part of the ending team that was struggling and then was the most pissed off about it. So annoying.
And now I didn't even really see Tiana smiling because Jeff does say like, "Oh, you guys seem happy for people that that just lost or are going to tribal."
Yeah.
I didn't really notice her smiling. Did I just like blink and miss it?
No, she smiled,
I
and a
mean,
couple of people were smiling too. Kyle was smiling. I mean, because as she said, "Hey, we want to have a positive attitude here. Yeah, we lost,
yeah.
but we're going to keep the team together, and we're going to be positive about it." And then TK was really upset about that. The fact that you could be good with losing, he was not happy about that at all. And I think that this is where his game turned right here. When he did that, because he really did alienate the entire team, told the entire team basically, "Hey, we lost. You guys are losers. We got to win." All of the things that he said, he really did turn the team against him, I believe.
Well, yeah, he was pissed, and you see Tiana rolling her eyes. I was like, "Oh, okay, someone's rolling her eyes at you, and you want to be working with them. It might be hard for them to get over this type of attitude." She was pissed, and Gabe apparently noticed the eye rolling, which now I have a question for you guys. So Dolores here is saying that TK said in his interview about how he kept telling them to change it up on the snake maze when they kept hitting a block at one point, but Gabe was insistent that he was in charge. Now, do you think that there's any chance that Gabe was throwing this on purpose? Or do you think that Gabe really just wants to be the leader of this tribe and these two alphas weren't really able to work together?
I don't know if Gabe's trying to be the like alpha of the tribe because I feel like he's kind of siding with like the underdogs of the tribes. I don't know if he's necessarily being like Mr. Big Alpha like the other two are.
Yeah, I don't
But
see
in
him
like
being
that type
alpha
of game,
either.
you have to work together. But I do think there needs to be like a designated leader that's like, kind of constructing the thing. So,
and I wouldn't be surprised also if Gabe maybe was trying to lead and guide and TK wasn't listening to him.
exactly.
And that was where the disconnect was. So they just weren't able to work together. And
Yeah, no.
I think it's TK likely not wanting to listen to anybody else but himself. That might have been the reason why they weren't successful at that puzzle.
Yeah.
TK though still feels like he was the leader. He is the leader of this tribe. I'm like, wow, man, he cannot.
He's not the leader. It's his tribe, my tribe.
Everyone needs to match his mindset. Crazy.
Yeah, it's just it's wild because not everybody is coming like if you're on a basketball team, a sports team of some sort, everybody that's coming there that's playing has a similar mindset. They want to be part of a team and they want to win as a team, and but everybody's coming from different walks of life with different intentions on how they want to play this game and their fitness level and like whether they played sports or not. So the fact that he can't see that they all don't have a similar background to him and they might not be encouraged in the same way, it's a big oversight.
Yeah, especially as a coach. I don't know. Does not get it.
Does not get it at all. So Tiana is venting to Kyle. And while she's venting a second time this episode, people getting caught in the act because TK walks right up and is like, "Are you talking about me?" Like, no. Yes, that's the only room that he read correctly. He had to know
the first time he's shown any self-awareness was when he was getting spoken about.
Yeah. So Kyle does tell TK that Tiana is kind of annoyed by how he was acting and calling her out on the mat, which I think is fair for her to be annoyed by. And so he does go and apologize to Tiana, but it wasn't an apology in my opinion. What did you think that was, Angelique? Whatever he said to Tiana.
Just filler. Just words. It was just a jumble of words put together.
I thought it was mansplaining. Right?
Oh.
I got that from Angelique. Don't mansplain. But no, I thought it was mansplaining because, I mean, he basically was telling them still what to do and so on and so forth. So we good? Yeah, we good?
He goes, well, I apologize. And like it was so not sincere.
Oh, he actually said it? Because I didn't
think he said the only reason I heard it is because of the subtitles, but yes, I think that he said I apologize maybe once.
Well, it definitely would seem more of a mansplain than an apology. And it did not land well with Tiana at all. But she's saying that she knows that she needs to think with her head and not with her emotions. So when she said that, I was like, so maybe she's going to want to keep the tribe physically strong. So I was kind of flipping back and forth here as to what Tiana was going to do. So Gabe then is talking to TK and Kyle. They're saying that they're going to put 4 votes on Sue. Gabe is all in with this. You know, the 4 votes. Sue and Carolyn will be probably doing TK or doing somebody else anyways. And so TK and Kyle are fine with this. Like, it's cool. They got it. No big deal. Easy vote. Gabe tells Carolyn and Sue that there's going to be 3 strong on TK, and basically that they're waiting for Tiana to see what Tiana's vote is. Now, I think that being on the beach with Tiana, Sue was able to build a little bit of that bond with being annoyed with TK that I think was helpful for her in this vote.
I agree that him yapping while they were trying to sleep, like, honestly might have done them in, because it formed a connection between those two that was like more unlikely to not if that hadn't happened. So should have shut his trap.
Oh, I meant to mention about the rice here. Hold on. So Jennifer Ruby says, apparently the red team asked if they could take the rice. I was annoyed that Jeff didn't let her take it, but since it was specified to another team, he kind of had to. I figured it was a good idea. Okay, so that's why he kind of called her out. I doubt that Jeff saw her take the rice. Like, production must have told her, but it would make sense. So if another team asked if they could take the rice and he said no, and then she pocketed some rice, then he'd have to call that out. But I wish that they could just take the rice. Like, that's hilarious. So you're getting some dirty sand rice because they're so starving. Give them some damn rice. Unless it's not real rice. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's prop rice. But like, I thought it was a good idea.
Rice.
It could be, right? Fake rice. So they have the balls to go to Rocks. What are you guys' thoughts about Rocks? Meaning that if they can't break a tie, they would so the people that had votes on them, that the tie was between, they would both be safe. So being Sue and TK in this scenario, and everybody else would be vulnerable to be going home on a rock draw.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, completely switches up what the intention of the voting is going into it.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't want to go to Rocks personally.
No,
especially on these small tribes. Like,
no.
So Sue tells Tiana, like, you know what? This would be an epic girl boss or boss girl move, which is the episode of this title of this episode. And I was like, okay, if this is an epic boss girl move, then I think that it's going to go through, because they would not be titling the episode this if it flopped. I don't think.
No, smart thought.
Definitely was like, yeah, Sue's going to make this happen. So will Tiana go to Rocks is what they're contemplating.
Of course not.
No.
Of course not.
Unless you have immunity, which we'll get to in one sec. So she's really debating between emotion and strategy here. Yeah, it is a bit of an emotional move to vote out TK, who's the strength of the tribe, because you don't necessarily want to come back there if it's a really physical challenge. So where would you guys fall? You would just side with Sue and Carolyn here, or would you want to keep the tribe physically strong?
It's hard because it's so early on, like, and you need the physical people to not get sent to tribal. But if it's Rocks or siding with Sue and also like creating a stronger bond in this super fractured tribe, I'm gonna go with that. So I would go with Sue and vote out TK, especially because he was yapping when I was trying to nap.
That's it. He's done.
Off for me.
So we get to tribal council, and Jeff is talking about natural pairings, people getting along. And Sue mentions that she saw a bromance developing and felt that the girls were on the bottom of this. And Kyle did say that he did bond with the guys, but also has bonded with the girls as well. But TK is not liking Sue whatsoever. He can't even pretend like he enjoys being around this woman, saying that she doesn't talk to him at all, and that I just found that he wasn't being kind at all, wasn't being nice at all. Terrible.
Yeah, I
terrible.
totally agree with that. I mean, for him to do that there, I mean, obviously, he thought that he was going to be going through. And he was able to say that, but that would have alienated him as well, because now Sue and then Caroline, or at least the two ladies, and obviously Tiana as well, would not be happy with him saying that about Sue, because that was just again more of him not reading the room.
And yeah, like, just wouldn't you want to go, like, even if you're taking her out of this game and he was going to be successful, I would want to still be kind to her. Like, she hasn't really done anything wrong to him for him to be so nasty to her. I was not happy with how he was speaking to her, and she was just like, what? Like, it takes two. Like, we could anyways. Yeah, I felt bad for her.
Well, I mean, think about this. So she was saying that there's a bromance going on and we're on the bottom, and then he came back and say, well, Sue doesn't talk to anybody. Has anyone heard anything? Talk to Sue, and he trying to bring the whole group in and really go towards her, make her the Omega on that one. And it backfired. Totally backfired on him.
Hard. So they asked Sue, the only one person could have this idol on the tribe, and that is Gabe. I wonder if they spoke about the fact that he was going to out to everyone that he had this idol, or they all knew and they just hadn't showed it on the episode, because I thought it was wild that he was saying something, like they were talking about it so freely. He wants to be Indiana Jones. Did Gabe say that? Just finding things? Is that what he said?
Yeah, I thought that was a great move of his, because he's out there, he's being called out for going and looking for idols. I thought it was a great move. Hey, I want to be like Indiana Jones. I'm here on the island, and there's treasures out there. I want to go find them, right? So I thought that was a great thing for him to come back with, other than saying, hey, I had to go find an idol. So, but he made it really that he was just having fun, and I thought that was great.
Definitely smart to make him look like it's less strategy and that he's conniving and sneaky, and more so he's just playing and wants to have an adventure. So yeah, I agree with you that it was pretty smart strategy for him to downplay his reasonings behind searching for these idols. They talk about balancing social with strategy, and that not all social relationships are strategic, which is true. And who said not to be happy or complacent with going home? I didn't write down who said that.
That would only be TK. I don't remember it.
Oh, yeah, probably.
I can't see anyone else saying that. That's probably him.
Now, I think it was Tiana that said this. My instinct is never wrong. And I wish that she was saying my instincts are always right. Because when she was saying that, I'm like, ooh, she's kind of emphasizing on the wrong, and like subconsciously, like, then maybe this is going to end up being a bad move. And I was just like going in my head thinking about,
I thought the same thing, by the way.
I actually,
thought the same thing.
That's something that Dad would teach us.
I put a star beside it because I was like, I had a feeling that you would say the same.
Yeah, exactly what I said. But she said she's, her gut is never wrong.
Yeah.
Right. So she's going to go with her gut. Her gut is never wrong. And at that point, I didn't know what she was going to do, quite frankly. So she made her move.
She made her move. So Jeff asks, an idol or advantage, is it going to play? And Gabe does get up and plays the idol for himself. Now, I wrote down in question mark, like, is this in case of a tie? So he wasn't sure what Tiana was going to do. If the Tiana made it a tie and they ended up going to rocks, that he would be safe. That was like my reasoning as to why he played it. But do you guys have any thoughts on why he might have played that idol?
Didn't he have to?
Well, it has to be if he didn't have to play it, but
Oh.
it could only be used at that first tribal.
Yeah.
So it definitely was going to be a burn, but like why he did it on himself, not on Sue, not on.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he have though that he could use it?
Oh, 3 up to
yeah.
3. Yeah, he has 3. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh.
he didn't have to use it. I thought he was going to play it for Sue, quite frankly, and I think Sue thought he was going to play it for Sue.
He should have just kept it then. I didn't realize that he had it for 3.
He had it for 3. But you know what? You never know. So look at last season. Everybody went home with the title.
Yeah,
right? He probably didn't want to do that. So hey, he played it, got it out there. He doesn't have a target on his back anymore. I thought it was a great play. I mean, everybody knows that he doesn't have an idol anymore. So I thought that was good. No more target on his back.
Yeah.
But he did show some great play to play it, right? So maybe there is a target on his back now. So I don't know.
Well, I think with everybody except for Tiana and Kyle knew about it, right? So TK obviously didn't know about it, and so TK's gone, and I don't think that Sue is going to be mad about it or Carolyn because they were in the know, and so I think
they're going to be happy about it. He does not have his idol anymore, right?
Do you think it's going to be re-hidden?
Oh, wow.
Now that he's gotten it,
thought about that.
Maybe that's why he did it. He wanted to just like get rid of it, re-find it, and let nobody else know about it.
Yeah, yeah. And now that he's gone, everyone's trust by telling everyone.
Yeah, that one. He wanted to be more of Indiana Jones, right?
Yeah, exactly. He wants to keep looking.
More adventures. Dreadful Ruby was thinking it was the rocks thing as well. Taj says maybe he did it so he could burn it, protect himself if he goes to rocks, but also not lose trust with either faction of the tribe.
True.
Yeah,
smart.
I guess.
Very good.
It's both. So the votes are in Sue, TK, Sue, TK, TK. TK is going home. Tiana goes for TK, voting him out of this game. They say, sorry, TK. He says, no worries. Damn. Like, no worries. I'm like, you're so upset about losers, and he would end up being a loser. Yes. Different type of game, obviously. But yeah, TK is the second person voted out of Survivor season 47. Yeah, and in his exit to little speech, he says, if they don't value winning, then they don't value winning.
Wow. Okay.
Well, they value winning Survivor more than maybe an immunity challenge with you on the team.
Mm-hmm. Where you can't communicate, but go off.
So that's pretty much it for this episode. Do we have an MVP?
Oh, for sure.
Yep.
But I'll let you ladies go first.
Well, I have mine.
I think Gabe was the obvious MVP. He killed it. He did he blindsided. He sided with the ladies that like were kind of underdogs on the tribe. I don't know. He's him and I would say Sam for babysitting Andy and then stealing his advantage was hilarious.
No, I thought Sam's acting was great, but Gabe, 100%. Gabe would be my MVP for this week. He played a really great game this week, so definitely Gabe.
And yeah, he definitely it could have easily just allowed Sue to go home, keep the tribe strong, but he made what was best for him happen, and he did it flawlessly without he's gonna have to get Kyle to be happy with him, but like that's pretty much it. Like Kyle will be pretty easy to smooth things over with. So
I think that's gonna be pretty easy because he's the odd man out right now, right?
Exactly. So. He has to kind of forgive them. So Sheila also thought that Gabe has the confidence, so he figures that he'll just find it again. Yeah, I think so too.
It seems like Sheila really wants to be a part of the show here. So we need to promote Sheila here so we can get some real activity on the show. Sheila's got to come back. What did she say?
Yes.
Gabe, MVP.
So bad.
Well, this was fun. This was a happy Sunday. Thank you both for being here. Do you guys have anything that you're promoting that you want to plug or, anything else you want to say before we sign off?
Pumped for next week to see what happens on Wednesday.
Me too.
You had
Awesome.
nothing to promote here other than next week. Come back on Sunday, 2:00. You never know which family member is going to be here, by the way, right?
Exactly.
There's a big family to go for.
Yeah, and everybody's been watching, so everybody's like, all of a sudden, like, my
people.
mom's like, "Oh, you should get your brother to go on." And I was like, "I've asked my brother to come on for 4 years, and he's never done it." So
Maybe now that we've come on, he'll be convinced.
exactly. So I'm happy to have all of you anytime. It's super fun to connect and talk over something that we all like really enjoy, and so I think it's a good little time together. So thank you both for being here. Thank you everybody in the chat, including Sheila, who maybe she'll be on as the other Francis representative next week. Fingers crossed. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know who you think should be MVP. Is it Gabe? Do you agree with us? Do you think it's Sam? Is there somebody else you weren't thinking of? And should Rachel been allowed to keep the rice? Dirty rice.
Yes.
Come on.
I don't think she should have been able to keep it because she got caught. Right? So you get caught, you got to put it back.
Well, I mean, I wish that she just got to keep it. But let us know in the comments what you think, and we can continue this conversation there. All right, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Cheers.